very simple question. What was your first job after you graduated?
My first job after I graduated was teaching students at university in the area of constitutional law and European law. I did it for 3 years, and then I thought it was time for me to learn something new.
Okay, so teaching in the university, it sounds like life was maybe a little bit more simple back then than it is now.
Yeah, I think life was, at this point in time, it was much simpler because teaching students is not very complex. You're telling the same stuff all the time. If I would tell the same stuff all the time now, being in this banking industry, it would be a little bit tricky. But maybe it's just because I'm getting older.
True, exactly. So how do you see, what are the most complex things at the moment? What is it that are there to deal with such a big bank in geographically looked at? So.
Yeah, I think the last presentation was extremely good because it gave a very clear picture about the situation we're in. On the one hand, we are facing all this regulatory stuff.
Yes.
It's this 50 shades of regulation. And on the other hand, you have these FinTech guys. Last year, they all showed up and told us, we will disrupt you, you will be dead meat, blah, 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 blah. This year, they are much friendlier to us than last year. I think that's given the fact that, from my perspective, there's a complete overvaluation in the market. I think a lot of fintechs will not succeed to get the second and third funding round in Europe. So I think already next year they will be extremely friendly to us. And on the other hand, you have these big tech guys like Apple, Google, Facebook, where I'm much more afraid of compared to the fintechs.
Exactly. So you say fintechs will become friendlier?
I'm completely convinced because I think most of them are very smart in terms of IT development. They are very good in the area of customer experience, yes. But most of them don't have any kind of business model. And most of them are tech guys. They are definitely not business driven. They are not marketing driven. So they have very smart solutions for special niches. But to leverage these will be quite tricky for some of them. And that's the reason why we are trying to offer cooperations towards fintechs, because we developed our own banking platform 2.5 years ago. We successfully implemented it in Austria. Now we are doing it in Czech Republic, Slovakia, Romania, the other countries. And we are in discussion with other banks to enter other markets where we are not in by ourselves. And I think we can offer fintechs within the next 2 to 3 years a banking platform where we have roughly something between 10 and 15 million clients on it. And I would expect that would be of huge interest for fintechs, and we can come up with a kind of revenue sharing model. So let's see.
Exactly. So you are saying there is a lot of technology, not so much finance in fintech. So finance, technology.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's perfectly true.
Yes, and in a narrow area of business at the same time.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about the last presentation because Naira was also right in saying that most of the people in boards on banks are not very experienced in technology. And even my IT board colleague, who is also here, Peter Bravek, realized that, and that was the reason why he took me last week to the United States, and we were on a kind of IT boot camp. But I learned a lot. It was great fun. I can explain a firewall now.
Excellent, yeah. Excellent. You also mentioned the tech giants being another threat. Can you open up that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm definitely afraid of Google or Facebook entering our business. I'm not too afraid of Apple because I think they still earn money like hell on the iPhone. Mm-hmm. And as long as there is no too much pressure on them, I think it would be not interesting for them to enter the payments area. For Google, it's something different because I think today they have the best overview about the flow of information.
Yes.
But we know where the money goes, which is much more interesting, and that would be the perfect fit for the business model from my perspective. So if I would be in their shoes, I would enter the payments area. And if I'm thinking about it like that, then they are thinking about it since years. And I would expect more or less the same with Facebook.
Okay.
And so I think the question how we react on that is, on the one hand, I think it's also about trust. Clients' perception about Google is that they are gathering your data. I have the strong belief that in terms of money and financial life, people still are afraid of sharing their data. So that would support our situation. On the other hand, we have to try to team up with these IBMs, Cisco's, and all these guys to fight these Facebooks and Googles.
Exactly. But you said you are not afraid of Apple that much. What would you say if Apple would bring us, when you set up your iPhone, you could also set up your iPFM
if they would go in this direction, that would be a complete fuck up, because I think they have 450 million iTunes accounts. They would be bigger than the 3 largest United States retail banks. But I think they just entered payments area with Apple Pay. Yeah. From my perspective, they are not extremely successful in this area. When you start to discuss with them, you don't have the feeling of cooperation. You're just getting the feeling you're their slave. Maybe I just don't want to confront myself with the fact that they could also enter our business. Don't ask me again.
Okay, I don't ask you about that. What about other players in that area? When there comes, you mentioned collaboration, that it would be good to collaborate. What kind of companies do you think are the best collaboration partners for banks?
I mean, at the moment we are interested in two areas in cooperating with externals. On the one hand, it's about everything what could add value to our payment systems in terms of our clients would make sense. On the other hand, I think in the area of risk management, getting our external data in our risk systems would be great support in terms of better lending decisions. At the moment, these are the most relevant areas for us.
Excellent. So the fraud security increases the trust, and the data part increases your possibilities to use that data in the future. Am I reading correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So do you see trust is there a key factor when you think about where people put their money?
Yeah, I think yes, of course. We are hopefully at the end of a financial crisis, and it is quite clear that we have to do a lot of things to rebuild trust. But I think compared to Google, Facebook, we are on a completely different framing area, and I think we have to be very much aware about that, how we act towards our clients, how we act in the media and all this stuff. When you look at this Wells Fargo issue last week, this is really terrible. Such things can destroy trust for the whole industry. And I say at the end of the day, yes, I think there is still advantage being a bank when it goes around money.
Exactly. And that's also according to the research, that banks are really the ones who are the most trusted brands in this market. However, if you look at the younger generation, those who are not yet necessarily active users of bank accounts, they are the ones who don't even know what a bank account is. They know what other Pokemon Go, iTunes accounts, what those accounts are. But do you see that, like we talk about even under 18, under 20-year-old?
It's completely true what you're saying, but even if I don't give you now not a very innovative answer, most of our younger clients are recommended by their parents.
Yes.
This still works. I mean, there are a lot of banks, for example, La Caixa, with this Imagine Bank, trying to build up these mobile banking areas to acquire these millennials. The question for me is, what is the business model behind? When you start giving them products for free, why do we think then when they wake up and they are 30 that they are willing to pay? I don't think so. So I'm not completely sure if giving everything for free because you are a millennial doesn't solve the problem that they don't want to pay.
Yes, it's a little bit like media. We used to pay when we were younger. We used to pay for everything, all our content.
Yeah.
Now even we are expecting media to be free when we click it.
Maybe we should give a very high fee related current account to every baby. Huh?
That would solve. But let's talk a little bit about innovations and new ideas. And we have been talking about how it's not the sole purpose to give products for free. How do you monetize innovations? There are lots of things going on. I know Erste Group is doing a lot of things in this area. So how much do you put weight on monetizing?
What I'm still not completely sure today is who should pay for your innovation? Will it be the retail client or should it be any kind of possible cooperation partner?
Yes.
Is it more a B2B monetization or is it really a B2C monetization? At the moment we are trying to figure it out on the retail client side. We implemented comparable to iTunes Store, App Store. We have a kind of plug-in store in our online banking platform. And there are some apps, so to say, for free, and for some you have to pay for. And till now, we roughly sold around about 10,000 of these plugins where you have to pay for. I think this will be a learning process over the next 2 to 3 years. But on the other hand, I try to come up with corporations where I can refinance my own innovations.
Refinance your own innovation? What do you mean exactly?
For example, when we are talking with other banks who are interested in taking over our existing banking platform, that would support me for the next years to innovate, going on with innovation and investing.
Exactly. You operate in so many countries. How many is it? Seven countries. There must be very different cultures in those banks and in those areas in different countries. So how do you take those innovations? Are they similar to every single country of yours, or do you?
I mean, the biggest differences are in terms of stage of development of the banks overall. We have very large banks with more than 3 million clients, very profitable, very good banks on a very high level of development. Then we have very small banks. In terms of culture, being an Austrian, I don't see too much differences. Given our history, I'm a typical Austrian. My real name is Peter Bosek, so I have of everything.
So is that another way to say Austrians are conservative or Austrians are forward-looking?
Good question. I would like to see me as forward-looking. I don't know if it's right, but...
So is it the technology then what is tying up all these cultures? You said there's not that much difference in...
No, that's not about technology. I mean, there is no difference between the client needs in Prague, Budapest or Vienna.
Yes.
So that's maybe related to retail banking, that our approach is quite the same because the client's expectations are quite the same.
Yes.
And they converged over the last 15 to 20 years.
Exactly. If you look into the future and you would build the kind of the most winning vision, like the most pleasant vision of Erste Group Bank, 5 years forward, 7 years forward, what will Erste Group Bank look like?
Erste Group would be the one and only bank all over Europe. All others will be killed by regulation or disrupted by FinTechs. We should be corporate. We will have roughly 450 million clients. I will have to do again IT bootcamp with Peter because we need a new system because we want to achieve 500 million clients.
That's a very nice nice vision indeed. What you are telling all the other banks that they basically will be killed by regulation on the.
Enjoy your ride.
What should they do in order to succeed? What would be your advice? I mean, we are living in such.
Be afraid of regulation. Don't take any risks. Increase your capital. Reduce the number of clients because it's too complicated. Stop marketing. Stop marketing. Your CFOs will love you if you stop marketing. You have really shitty IT systems. You have no chance. You're gone. Sorry.
As a former controller, sometimes really long time ago, I really love that your CFOs love that when you stop marketing.
It's everybody says.
Yes, so make your CFOs happy? Would that be a conclusion?
Yeah, you should make your CFOs happy. I definitely will not make my CFO happy.
Exactly. So now we know a lot what Erste Group Bank is about to do, between the lines at least. I'm very happy to hear this, hear all these projects, and want to thank you very much for this session,
Thank you.
Bosek.
Thank you.